Hi, I'm Lonely Boy. I'm making this channel so I can have a lot of friends. Right now I will show you a movie from 2021, Rumble. Spoiler ahead! Since the dawn of time, titans have risen from the earth and battled each other, and all of mankind watched for their entertainment. In the present day, the town of Stoker-upon-Avon has been home to monster wrestling, and their hometown heroes were the champion Rayburn and his coach, Jimbo Coyle. Sadly, Rayburn and Jimbo perished at sea, leaving Stoker without their heroes. Stoker hosts a stadium where the wrestling events take place, and the new champion is a shark monster called Tentacular, who is coached by Jimbo's protege Siggy Martin. Almost the whole town gathers to watch him fight against giant bulldog monster King Gorge. Jimbo's daughter Winnie is a major monster wrestling enthusiast and has the same spirit she got from her dad. During the match, Tentacular is getting beat by King Gorge, but Winnie notices that Gorge has a towel, and that he licks his lips before going in for a hit. Tentacular notices and uses it to his advantage in allowing him to remain champion. However, after the match, he announces to Stoker that he is leaving for a different town, meaning they no longer have a hometown hero. The town gathers where the mayor brings in a councilwoman to explain to the townspeople that without a champion monster, they can't have wrestling tournaments, and they can't keep the stadium since it will be losing them money. A rich jerk named Timothy Brett Chadley III wants to demolish the stadium and put up a parking lot. Despite everyone else seeming to give up, as well as her own mom Maggie telling her not to go through all the trouble, Winnie travels to the town of Pittsmore, where they lost their monster champion and hold illegal monster fights in an abandoned warehouse. There, Winnie tries asking several skilled monster wrestlers if they will join her, but they all laugh her out. Soon, Winnie finds Steve, who happens to be Rayburn's son that she recognizes from when she and Steve were kids. He is part of the underground wrestling matches where he has to lose every night. Winnie keeps trying to get his attention, unaware that Steve is supposed to lose the match to Clonk, or else their boss, Lady Mayhem, will be unhappy. Winnie causes Steve to accidentally knock Clonk out, which loses Lady Mayhem all her earnings for the night. She orders Steve to come up with the money immediately, or suffer worse consequences. Steve doesn't want to join Winnie, but with no other options, he reluctantly joins her and returns to Stoker. Winnie starts trying to train Steve bright and early, though when he goes to the gym, he has memories of his dad discouraging his love for dance over wrestling. He refuses to do any actual training until he gets a match. Winnie later takes him to a cargo ship where monster fights are held, and he goes up against Ramarilla. When she informs him that it's winner takes all and he won't get a sin if he loses, Steve attempts to put in some effort. Per Winnie's instructions, he runs around until Ramarilla starts to get tuckered out, and Steve ends up winning. However, sports commentators like Mark Remy and Lights Out McNulty consider the match to be one of the worst ever due to how lame it was. Winnie continues trying to put Steve through extensive physical training, but ultimately, he knows he can't be exactly like his dad, and that's why he left Stoker in the first place. Winnie soon learns that Steve has a passion for dancing, so she tries to incorporate his moves into his fighting skills. They start getting into matches where Steve is able to win by using his dance skills, which fans are divided on as to whether it is an interesting new method or if it is just pointless showboating. When Winnie tries to get Steve to fight King Gorge, she learns that the mayor and councilwoman are getting ready to sign over the stadium to Jimothy. It is then revealed that Tentacular orchestrated the buying of the stadium because he feels that he will always be seen as second best to Rayburn, so he is willing to destroy his legacy by having the stadium demolished. This leaves Winnie and Steve feeling defeated. Steve returns to Pittsmore with the money for Lady Mayhem, ready to return to his unfulfilling job. However, just before the match, he looks in his locker and sees pictures of himself and his father having a good time together. Steve finds Winnie back in Stoker and takes her to the stadium as a crowd is gathered to watch Tentacular blow it up. Just before it happens, Steve rips out the explosive cables and comes before the crowd to reveal himself as Rayburn Jr., and he challenges Tentacular to a fight in order to save the stadium. Fans and news outlets, and even Lady Mayhem, are all in disbelief at Steve's true identity, but Tentacular agrees to the fight. Winnie goes back to training Steve, and he now has even more support than before. The night of the big match arrives. Steve gets nervous and doesn't think he can live up to his father's legacy, but Winnie gives him a rousing coach speech to get him pumped up. During the first round, Steve is able to dodge Tentacular's attacks through dancing, making for a less than thrilling fight. In the second round, Tentacular is able to get more hits in as he counters Steve's dance moves. Siggy tries to urge Winnie to throw in the towel because Tentacular could easily destroy Steve. She almost agrees to it, not wanting to see him get hurt, but Steve picks himself up and tells her they just need a new strategy. In the third round, Steve gives it his all and manages to pull off a high enough jump to come down on Tentacular, but they end up knocking each other out, and a chair flies out and hits Jimothy. Both of them appear to be down, but Steve finally comes up and is the new champion. Tentacular is taken away in humiliation, but Siggy congratulates Winnie and sees her as being as great a coach as her dad was. The crowd goes wild, and even Lady Mayhem, who was watching from her warehouse, shows pride in Steve. The stadium is saved, and everyone celebrates with a dance party. Steve and Winnie later get frozen yogurt to celebrate but get sick after eating too much. Thanks for watching! If you want to be my friend, please subscribe my channel. Or, I will steal your house!